deep into the transformative power of automation and AI for lead generation. For Isaiah will share his valuable insights and strategies to stay ahead of the curve in an ever evolving digital marketing space. Isaiah's journey has isn't just about business milestones. It's about community, it's about family, and the relentless pursuit to empower others. Beyond the numbers and the technology that he is part of, discover the heart and vision that drives one of the industry's most forward thinking leaders. Isaiah, welcome to the podcast. It's a pleasure finally having you on the podcast.
Awesome. See, I'm so glad to be here. I've seen that the content you put out is absolutely awesome. So
Thank you.
really, really excited to share and talk about this topic today.
For sure, bro. Let's get right into the conversation. So you have had quite the journey for real estate brokerage to the digital marketing space. What sparked your interest in integrating automation and AI in the real estate marketing space?
Yeah. That interest actually goes back to 2011. Is when that first started. And then one of the things I think is really important for everybody to hear is when you have an idea, don't let that idea go. Sometimes it's just timing. Like just because you don't think like you can execute it on it today, you stop thinking about it. For me, I had an idea that started back in 2011, and I just knew I had to do certain things to actually pursue that idea. And so I had planned out a 10-year vision to get to that point. And a lot of people make decisions based on days and not in decades. And I was taught to make sure that any decision that you make for your life, you don't make it based on what you're experiencing the day or the limitations you're feeling in the day or in the moment or the week, but actually what you could do in a decade. And so, with that said, in 2011, I was working for a digital marketing company, and they were just transitioning out of the yellow pages, and we were generating leads for the home services industry. And I saw that this big giant problem in the lead generation space that was happening, where some of the agents, and these were just in the general home services industry, one business would get tremendous results off of the leads, and then another business would say that they're not getting results. And I wanted to know why. And that passion came down to what I call now technology-enabled follow-up as one of the most important things that people can do when it comes to lead generation. And so that's kind of sparked something that was really interesting to me. And I started studying technology-enabled follow-up back in 2011. And then I started using lead generation strategies and technology-enabled follow-up for my own business, actually, before I got involved in real estate. On the residential side, I was actually an investor. So I would do I don't know if you remember the yellow letters where you would handwrite a yellow letter and you'd print it out and make it look like,
a print out.
Print out. So that was actually my very first independent marketing campaign that I did for myself, my own company, was a yellow letter. And that yellow letter was so effective. I had literally hundreds of phone calls come back in on like 1,000. I had probably almost 300 phone calls come back. It was a very, very targeted list. And I learned the power of a couple things. I learned the power of a target market, a great marketing piece, right? Coming together that speaks to that target market. I learned the power in that because now I didn't have a lead generation problem. I had a problem of actually knowing what to do and how to follow up with these leads, right? And that's what actually sparked the interest, brother, is I was sitting here like, oh my gosh, like, how am I going to follow up with all these people?
You need automation for that, right?
Yeah. So long answer to your question, but that's where it all started, actually, is my first campaign that I did.
Wow.
For myself, I ended up just blown away, and I was overwhelmed and I didn't know what to do. And I think a lot of people still have that problem today.
Yeah, for sure. And for agents that are just starting to explore automation now, like through drip campaigns, suddenly like drip campaigns became automation, right? And AI, with ChatGPT and everything else, the tools that are available out there. What would you say are the top 3 game changers that should be implemented immediately now that these tools are available for people?
The first one, which is talked about a lot, but surprisingly most agents and small businesses don't take advantage of it, is speed to lead. And that actually starts before people think about it in like the terms of like texting and email or ringless voicemail, as far as speed to lead. But there's one process or feature that I find that is even more powerful or equal or needs to be a part of that speed to lead. And that's what's called a technology called call bridge, where the second the lead comes in, I don't know why my camera's not doing a weird focus thing, but where when the lead comes in, it actually will call the lead and call you simultaneously and whisper to you. It's such an underutilized tool, but it's the fastest way to actually communicate with somebody when they actually put the lead in.
Yeah.
So speed to lead. The next layer is making sure that you humanize your campaigns as much as possible, but don't let it stop you from getting your campaigns up and running. People have an all or nothing mindset in this business, and it's killing them. Like, oh, if it's not perfect, phase 1, just get your speed to lead and your nurture campaigns going. Like, okay, yeah, it might be canned content because you got it from KV Core or whatever system that, you have an awesome system, right? Whatever system that you're using, right? Like, get it up and running first.
And then go modify.
And then let the data tell you what you need to change. Stop thinking like, oh my gosh, like it feels like it's canned content. Unless your audience is telling you that, why are you worried about that? Yeah. And that's another business principle I could go off of. We're making one of the things we teach and train in our coaching and consulting part of our company is stop making decisions based off of your opinions and your emotions. Make decisions off of data. So get the campaigns going, your speed to lead and your marketing automation, get it going. And then the next layer is customize it, right? Make it more customized. But I see so many people, they'll spend, that project will sit on the shelf for forever because they're worried about it being perfect, or I don't have time to do it. Just get something up and running, because something is better than nothing always, right? And so I could keep going on that. The next layer is considering an AI digital bot, considering that to complement your marketing automation. And don't neglect the late age leads in your database to make sure that you actually have automation that are working late age leads in your database. Yeah. We make more money, and our clients make more money off of late age leads than we do new leads, because of the natural buying cycle of real estate. So I don't know if that's where you're looking to go with it. Go with this question, but
that's amazing advice. Look, each one of these 3 things that you have mentioned, the way I take it is speed to lead, a nurture plan in place, and then retargeting, like making sure that you're constantly staying in front of people that are older database in your business. Yep. I see when it comes to leveraging their own current database and leveraging automation when it comes to speed to lead and nurture plans and campaigns, agents do put that off, and they don't even leverage it because I don't want to sound salesy to my sphere of influence. I don't want them to get an email from me that might not sound like it's from me. It has to be personalized. And the cost of that is you not being in front of your sphere at all when you're trying to perfect a campaign, email campaign or a drip campaign, whatever it may be, whatever it will be. And then the last part, retargeting and staying in front of your database. I feel like agents that just super overcomplicate a simple thing, right? Like just have some type of retargeting in place, a campaign in place for you to stay in front of old leads in your database. And I agree with you 100%. Today, we probably generate still like anywhere from 50 to 100 new leads a month, but majority of our marketing is focused around 130,000 people that we have in our
That's
database.
right. That's right.
So majority of our business comes from those 130,000 people. Very few, probably 2 to 5 deals
Yeah.
come from the new leads we generate, right? So definitely great advice. This is exactly what I was looking for. Now there is a lot of buzz around AI transforming different industries, right? Like some people are afraid of it, some people are excited about it. How do you envision AI reshaping the future of real estate, reshaping how we would generate leads specifically?
Yeah. In so many ways that people can't imagine. And so I'm going to go probably pretty deep on this, and you tell me when to stop, because there's a lot, right? So you have 8 core strategy of lead generation. Let's just start at the top. Most people don't even know how to define lead generation. Like, it's defined completely wrong. So I'm going to define it for you, actually, how Webster Dictionary, or it's supposed to be defined.
I'll give you the real estate industry dictionary of lead generation. Is that you pay for leads and you got a ready, willing, and able buyer that is knocking on your door and offering their third child for your service.
Right. Which is not the definition of lead generation, but that's what we think it is, right? So like, I love that. That's perfect. That's great. But lead generation is simply identifying somebody that is interested potentially in the service that you offer, and then nurturing them into a paying client. That's what the definition of lead generation is. So if and so there's a couple extremes here. I see people saying that purchasing data is they're saying that's lead generation. No, it's not. That's the framework, or that's raw data that you hope to generate a lead from.
That's right. They're
not a prospect yet. You don't know. You don't know if they're interested in your service at all yet. So it's not a lead. Okay. So the next extreme is like, oh, it's not a lead unless, like what you said, just half kidding, but half serious, is like, if they're not ready to list their house right now, right? Or to list with you right now, that it's a bad lead, or it's not a lead. And that is totally incorrect. And the problem is that if you're trying to build your business and you don't even have the right definition on lead generation, and you're building your business, lead generation is arguably one of the most important activities for you to do in your business, and you don't even know how to define it, how are you going to develop a marketing plan to actually generate leads?
Yeah.
And so that's why, as stupid as it sounds, I first and foremost start off every talk defining what lead generation really is. Because now you can have an intelligent conversation of how to do lead generation and how many leads that you need to actually hit your transaction goal. And I'm getting to the AI question in a minute, but so there's eight core strategies. There's a whole bunch of things you can do with these 8 core strategies of lead generation, but there's only 8. First one is your warm lead, is your sphere of influence.
Yeah.
And that could be one-to-one or one-to-many. Okay. And a lot of people don't do this because it's really takes a lot of time one-to-one, where AI is making this a lot easier to be able to do this.
One-to-many
is you can develop content and put that in front of your market through the form of an educational video every week, easier than ever before. And AI is really helping do that. So for example, I'll go to ChatGPT, I'll do a video script, I'll customize it, I'll say program it for YouTube, then reprogram it for an email. And then what I do is shoot the video. Then I have a tool that goes in and does suggested video edits. I have a VA that does that, costs almost nothing for the VA. And now I have a video to send to my database. I have zero excuse not to do warm marketing or lead generation to my sphere of influence. Zero. But literally, I don't have the data on this, but most agents that come into our ecosystem, they're not consistently doing lead generation to their sphere.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number one. So AI makes it easier to do that with warm marketing. And it's just going to get easier and easier and easier as these tools get smarter and smarter. The next one is going to social media and organic. Same thing. Because of ChatGPT and other AI tools that make it super easy to start generating content, it's making it easier than ever before to do organic social media.
Yeah.
So where a guy like me who hates social media by nature, I'm able to pump out like tons of content.
I see that, bro.
Right.
Especially recently, you changed your game, bro.
Yeah, like I'm leveling it up, and the reason why is because I'm using AI tools to be able to do that. Like I'm able to get out. Literally, this is my process. Once a week, I sit down in front of a camera, I do a long form video, and then I do 5 short form videos. And I had ChatGPT and other tools that I'm using to help me create the scripts. And then I literally send that off to the video editing team. Total process takes me 2 hours a week. And literally I have content. I have that over 40 pieces of content that's created for the week.
Yeah.
So that's how AI is changing lead generation, and then it's changing it in other things too. So those are the first 2 pillars. The next one is paid ads. Where AI is changing paid ads is there's technology, like one of the pieces of technology that we offer called Ren 360, where the AI actually helps you track your paid ads, so you know where to put your budget and to do smarter paid ads.
Yep.
So it's affecting paid advertisement. It's also allowing you to test multiple SKUs. Next one is what I would call cold outreach. This is a new tool that's coming, but there's tools out there where actually it's a humanoid. It's not even a human making the phone call, but it sounds like it's a human making the phone
call. Yeah. Air AI.
It's an AI bot, but it's like you wouldn't know it. The quality of the voice, and we're just testing this right now, and I want to be clear for our audience. We're testing it, but because I'm letting you guys, the question was what's coming, right? So AI in the future, calls will be made by AI that you think will be a human. Okay, so that's the cold outreach, right? Or it doesn't have to be cold outreach, but just outreach by phone, okay? Or by an inside sales agent, right? Yeah. So like, where traditionally you'd have a traditional inside sales agent, it'll be a digital inside sales agent doing the outreach. The next one after that, so the next pillar is referral marketing. And so how AI is affecting referral marketing is, and this is not as much AI, but you have automated gifting. You have automated gifting programs that are out there. And I think AI will eventually get into this, but if you're not doing some sort of automated gifting to like your Dream 100 or to a segment of your database that you really want to stay in front of, automating gifting is a huge tool. Automated postcards. So and all with the goal to generate referrals.
Yeah. And
then the other pillars are vendor partners. I haven't seen advocates, vendor partners, doing events together through vendor partners, and then agent attraction. And so AI is going to touch every single one of those pillars that I just brought up in some way, shape, or form. But most people don't even know the pillars. So the first lesson here is hopefully go back and listen to this recording and say, here's my 8 pillars. Those are the only ways to really generate leads. Like there's subcategories within organic, right? There's subcategories, right? But those are the 8 things. So you got to grade yourself. This is what you do. You got to grade yourself on what you're first. Pick the ones you should do based on your skills, your time, your talent, your budgets, your commitments. And then what you do is you say, how can AI help me do these better?
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing that you mentioned the 8 pillars, and it's interesting that I think of it in my framework, and it's just like the same exact things. Okay.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what business you're in. Real estate, mortgage, B2B, B2C, doesn't matter. It's the same.
What I see with real estate agents, the biggest hurdle for them would be is that they don't even have the 8 core pillars or whatever it is, 6 core pillars, 5 core pillars, whatever pillars that you have manually set up for you to start leveraging automation and AI, right?
Correct.
You don't even have the pillar. The pillar has to exist manually first, meaning you have to establish those pillars for you to be able to leverage automation and AI. Now,
Yeah.
what is, you deal with a lot of agents in your community. What is, I guess, like the biggest or most common misconception agents have about AI, and how do you address that in your coaching sessions or in your program?
That it's more complicated than it is.
Yeah.
It comes down to execution because, and partly this is an industry problem. It's not the agent's fault, because our industry likes to hype things up to get attention. And so I think the biggest problem is agents don't execute on even basic things like the basic AI. Like, for example, you can do most of what you need to do with AI through like 5 different tools, right? So like, but because of the hype right now, it can be very confusing. So I tell agents to start off getting really good at using ChatGPT, and maybe like another tool like Jasper or Copy.ai. There's only about 5 tools you really need to master right now. I'm not saying that's not how it's going to be in the future, like as things evolve, but the practical application, right? Yeah. Practical application. And the other thing that's happening right now is continue to use the tools that you're already using, like Canva. Canva is doing incredible things with AI right now. Incredible things with AI. So I would just say, make sure that you don't think there's some sort of massive knowledge gap that should stop you from using AI.
Yeah.
Just start using it would be my suggestion, and don't think that it's something more than it's not right now. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, I think, look, when it comes to AI, yes, well, with any new technology, any new, I guess, evolution with any technology, I look at AI as an evolution of internet, right? Or all the technology, computer firmware, software, hardware, all those things combined, AI is going to take it to a whole new level, right? So something as simple as creating video content at scale, right?
Yeah.
Where manually it was hours of work. Like, imagine just creating one 15-minute long form video before was researching the topic, going through like a lot of Google searches. I'm talking about manual work, right? Reading through a lot of blogs, creating the script for that 15-minute video, sitting in front of a computer and recording the whole video, then manually editing all the bad parts out and make it good, intro, outro, and all that stuff, right? Versus now, if you were to really create it at scale, you can create the intro, outro. You have the intro, outro that's already there. You edit it one time, it's always there, right? And then you just feed like things like Opus clips, right? Like what we do with our 15-minute long form video is just feed it to Opus clip. Opus clip decides what is the best short form video that it could collect from that video, and gives us, 15-minute video, give you 20 to 30 short form videos that you can use as reels, TikToks, and shorts, right? So stuff like that became so simple to do. But if you were not doing those basic things in the first place, where you didn't have a video content framework, right? For those people, you're having to learn this whole new thing, and it might seem like, oh, because of AI I'm doing all this work. But no, it's not because of AI you're doing all this work. You should have done this all along. AI is just now making it simple, where you don't have to have a video editor. Before, we were paying $150 per 15-minute short form video with six reels Now we don't pay an editor for our 15-minute video,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
we got 20 to 30 reels that
I
are,
love it, man.
so it's just like the amount of time that, or let's not even mention the topics and the scripts, like more than like me manually coming up with topics and creating scripts is not always going to hit the target audience, because it's me manually researching.
That's right.
Depending on the time of the day I was researching, how tired I was coming up with bad topics where AI doesn't make any sense. AI knows for this audience, you only got to do this work one time. Feed AI everything about your business. Feed AI everything about your audience, who you want to target, what do you want to target them for, what do you want to sell to them, right? And based on that, they're generating the content that would hit with them, right? So the amount of trials and errors in the equation is eliminated. Forget about reduced, it's eliminated, right? So I guess like with the rapid advancement with automation and AI, you working with helping agents and brokers leverage automation in their business, in lead generation, and growing business, scaling business. Could you share maybe a story with us where it made a tangible impact, right? That's what agents and brokers out there looking for, is like, does this work, right? Does it get results, right? So that helped turn around that agents or brokers business.
Yeah, I got a ton of them, but I'll try to share one. I got three. I'll try to share three of them to relate to where each agent is at different stages of your business. So one example was for a brand new agent who was not even full-time yet. So our mission with Ren 360 is three things: is to help them lay out a lead generation roadmap. Number two, master the art of sales and persuasion, because a lot of agents are not taught that. And then develop a business growth strategy. So newer agents, what's the first struggle? It's usually lead generation, right? And all the things that go in lead generation and lead follow-up. And so one of the things that this newer agent was struggling, he wasn't even full-time yet because he didn't have a lead generation roadmap. So we helped him. He figured out how many leads he needed to coming in, and he was using a lead gen provider, but he wasn't able to convert, and he wasn't able to keep in touch with the leads. It was really hard because he wasn't full time yet. Yeah. So like he's trying his best, right? And on top of that, he didn't know the scripts and the dialogues and the art of persuasion because he never made a persuasion what? Like, what are you talking about, right? Like. And so for him, this specific case study is he got his marketing automation honed in. And that actually, because if you have the science of persuasion built into your content, which we do, we don't build content, we build content so he got his content going. He started getting, when he was working his real estate business, instead of having to blind call, he was able to smart prospect and smartly follow up with the people that were interacting with his content. So we solved that problem because it saved him time and energy. Then his next problem was just figuring out what to say. And then once he figured out the scripts and the dialogues, came to some lead conversion workshops, he figured out what to say. And now he's gone full time. He went from getting an appointment a week to now he's going on 2 to 3 appointments a week. Wow. Which allows him, brand new, that's allowing him to go full time because now he's averaging 3 to 5 transactions a month, which is what he needed to do to go full time. So
that's amazing. Yeah.
That's one story. I'll tell you a story of a mid-level agent who had a bigger database. Same exact process, just the problems magnified because paying for all of these leads, not able to keep in touch with the leads, database is a hot mess. Organized the database, got the technology enabled follow-up in place, figured out the scripting, the dialogues, got the time blocks in place. You ready for this? Her name's Chrissy Young. She went from $500,000 and just under $500,000 in GCI to about 14 months later, she's going to do $1.2 million in GCI.
Wow. Doubled, more than doubled.
Because she fixed those 3 things. lead generation, lead follow-up, and lead conversion. Doubled. Because she already had been in business for a while. She just she didn't have her systems in place. She didn't have those three things like optimized, right?
Yeah.
And then the last story was, the last story I share with you is a gentleman actually building a team. And what happens is every problem you have in the beginning is magnified. And I want everybody to write that down. Whatever problems you're having in the beginning that you
don't solve your problems now, they're only going to get bigger later.
Only magnified. And a lot of times you have to crash and burn everything to fix it, because if you don't fix it in the beginning, or you have to take steps back. I mean, not that extreme. But
I have consulted team owners who had to basically shut down their team and restart to do it right. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Happens more often than we probably would like to talk about, right? And so that was essentially what he had to do. But he went from doing 60 transactions himself to doing 150. Because he got his database, his marketing automation, and here's the key: he taught his team how to work their database and how to work with marketing automation.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, is we're setting up all the tools, but we're not teaching our team
how to use them. Yeah.
How to use them.
Yeah.
And we're frustrated because they're not following up or they're not converting the leads, and we're still teaching them just to make phone calls.
Yeah, and team leaders, especially the ones that haven't had the proper, I guess, like growth in the industry. First, when they were in production, they were blaming it on the market, they're blaming it on the client, and then when they have a team, they're blaming it on the team members, right? Like, hey, it's the agent's fault, they're not following up.
Yeah, really, the teams that are struggling right now, and the agents that are struggling right now that have never done demand lead generation before. And what I mean by that is they're proactively looking at the 8 pillars and doing the outreach.
Yeah.
So like, they're not just depending on waiting for the perfect lead, but they're actually looking at those 8 pillars and they're optimizing those 8 pillars. The ones that are doing that are doing demand lead generation are crushing it right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and the ones that are teaching their agents to do it, but the ones that are not, those are the ones that are suffering right now, that don't really have a systematic process on how to run a business in place.
Yeah, I would say that's the difference between having a marketing strategy and not having a marketing strategy, right? Having a marketing strategy, your approach and your I guess activities that you do are predictable and scalable, right? Yep. So everything that I will do as part of my marketing strategy will get me leads into my database, versus not having a marketing strategy for your business. It could be real estate or not, right? Is basically praying to God every night and every morning, right?
Yeah. Seriously.
Can't think of anything else. But with the rapid advancements with automation and AI, how do you, as the leader of this movement or your community, how do you stay ahead of the curve and ensure that the strategies you teach remain relevant?
A great question. I use the 1-3-5 rule. So 1 hour specifically devoted on learning and improving, either personally or professionally. 3 hours of actually doing. So 3 to 4 hours of actually doing the work on what it takes to generate leads and convert leads into closed appointments and nurture relationships and like actually fall through on your lead generation, your marketing plan. And then the 5 hours is everything else. If you stick to that formula, you will build a dynamic business, period. Doesn't matter what business you're building, the 1-3-5 formula.
That's amazing. And data, I think that's what a lot of real estate agents, they're missing, even though this has been part of real estate business for centuries, from the dawn of time when any sales business was started. A database is what controls your future of your business, right? But I think a lot of real estate agents and brokers, when it comes to running a real estate business, first of all, they don't even run it as a business, but even the ones that think of it as a business, one point they miss on, which other industries, if you were to think of any tech companies, you think of Tesla, you think of Amazon, you think of Microsoft, you think of Apple, data is behind these companies' massive growth, right? So data is significant, especially when it comes to AI. there are stuff that we are going to, like, imagine someone right now, you can execute on this right now. You pull the data on a certain county or certain zip code on all of the owners' contact information. It's very easy. You can hire anyone on Fiverr who will skip trace the data on a certain zip code on all the homeowners in that zip code, 4, 5, 6,000 people, and you have AI tools that can cold call that data. First of all, which you could do 5 years ago was mass text this list, right? Mass email this list. And now you can cold call with AI on this list. Imagine what that industry, like with more and more companies and agents and brokers leveraging data to generate business, really like hyper-focused data too, right? You can pull a list of pre-divorce, pre-foreclosure, probate, right? Vacant properties, absentee landlords. You can really hyper focus their outreach too. How can agents ensure with the age? I feel like we've been in the age of data, but now with AI, this is only going to like expand in a whole new level because of the ability and increased capacity to reach out to a mass number of people if you have the data, right? How can agents ensure that they are sourcing through quality data? How can they get in control of managing their database properly and using it also ethically, right? Like, because that's probably something else on the horizon, figuring out the ethical practices behind leveraging mass database through AI, right? And effectively for their AI driven marketing campaign. What do agents and brokers need to be aware of as this is on the horizon?
Yeah, I think that I'll just share with you what we do. I think is the best way to answer that. I can answer that question. Yeah. When we're talking about actual data that it's not an actual opted-in lead, right? Yeah. So what we do is we use AI to help us analyze who's more likely to actually do something or to move. And
you do that based on life events or
like I don't like how there so we have an algorithm that shows us how likely they are to move based upon a bunch of different data points. And then what we do is we just use anything that's legal that we can do to market to them. We have multi-channel marketing approach. So retargeting, ads, postcards, et cetera. And as simple as that sounds, right now, the benefit of the AI part of that is I can pull a whole county.
But you don't have to send everyone your marketing.
But I don't have to send a whole county postcard, right?
Yeah.
Or to retarget, or to upload the whole county into Facebook or into our tool Run 360 to do the retargeting ads. I can literally just upload the ones that are tracking that are more likely to move. So now my cost to generate, take somebody from data to lead is much lower and more accurate.
Wow. Yeah. So you just thousands and thousands of dollars saved, right? So
thousands.
Efficiently managing data. Yeah.
Thousands. So, and look, there's tons of providers. You just find a provider that you like that you can purchase geographical data from, right? And then just Google AI tools to help. This is how do I find people that are likely to move? I don't like promoting specific tools on podcasts. It's just my thing. So,
I mean, the names are out there. You just need to Google search the right keyword.
Just Google search it, and DM this guy. He knows all the tools in the world. So DM him.
Ask ChatGPT.
Ask ChatGPT.
How do I Google search platform that can help me analyze data to tell me.
A ton of them will pop up. So,
So there is a lot of fear behind automation, right, with agents and brokers that I come across a lot, where they might, the automation and AI might depersonalize me, right? Like interactions, in an industry where it thrives on personal connection and relationships, right? So how do you strike a balance between automation efficiency and maintaining the personal touch?
I think this is going to get easier as AI gets smarter. It's gonna naturally be more personable. But here's what I'd share with you. It's definitely not personable if I don't contact you at all.
That is so funny. I find that hilarious because I said that a couple times before.
Like, that's why I love it. It's like, okay, is it more, or you tell me, is it more or less personable if I don't contact you at all, or if I contact you through a automated text message?
Yeah.
Like, you tell me.
Something I implemented in my coaching program, anyone who comes in part of my program as a coach, they get access to live support and all of that, right? So something I implemented about a few months ago was an automated text strip. Every week, automatic text goes out to that person saying, hey, so-and-so, how's it going? ? That's it, right? And I have had a lot more, I guess, personal connection with my students doing this, because they would actually respond saying, oh, I'm doing this, working on a deal or something at a personal level they would share with me because of that text. Versus before, I always felt disconnected. Other than the group coaching calls we do and monthly one-on-ones we do, I don't really communicate with these people, right? So it actually started a next level of connection that I have with my people because of these automated drip campaigns. And it's all like same text going every single week over and over again, right? But some of them know that it's automated, but if they respond to the text, I'm going to respond back. So I respond back when they respond. So they know I'm watching. Now, how do you envision the role of real estate agents evolving as more and more process becomes automated? What's the doomsday story here?
I think doomsday only comes for people that are not willing to embrace the new era of lead generation and the new era of AI and marketing. And the ones that are going to crush it. And the gap, it's just going to, the doomsday story is the people that are innovators and the people that are willing to do the work to figure it out are the ones that are going to crush it. And everybody else is going to be either having to go get another job or barely surviving.
Yeah.
And that's kind of already happening now, but it's going to be even more extreme. If you can imagine it, it'll just be even more extreme. And I tell people to get leverage any way that you can. And this is one of my pet peeves about our industry is we spend a lot of time teaching people how to go get the next transaction. And we don't teach agents, specifically a solo entrepreneur, actually how to think, act, and be an entrepreneur and a CEO.
Yeah.
And so it's for it creates a cycle of insanity. So my message to all of you who are listening that want to go to the next level in your business is stop thinking about how you're going to do what you're doing and start focusing on leverage. Mm-hmm. Who can help you? The people, process, and tools that you need to put in place to help you do this stuff. You don't have to figure all this out on your own.
Yeah.
Right? You just have to plug into great programs like your program and get leverage. And that's the key. It's if you want to ever get financially free or independent, it comes down to one word: leverage.
Yeah.
And that's really what AI is doing. It's giving leverage to people that take advantage of it. The people that don't take advantage of the principle of leverage with technology and AI, it's going to be magnified because at the rapid, how fast it can do things versus you trying to do it on your own. It's impossible to keep up with. It's impossible to even compete with.
Yeah, I mean, look, here is my doomsday message, right? Is that we didn't need AI to give us this message because Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, and all these other platforms has already shown us how behind we are as an industry, real estate sales industry, on the digital marketing space, And we have had already these companies come up 9, 10, 14 years later. They own 30%, 40% of our commissions, right? So the message was already there for people who are reading the writing on the wall, right? But with AI, now only advantage agents had, even after those digital marketing agencies coming in and taking over our real estate space, was that personal connection, that personal being able to stay in front of, being able to be personable to their sphere of influence, people who already know them, like them, and trust them. Zillow doesn't have a lot of leverage on that database if you are consistently and systematically staying in front of your database through digital marketing, right? But then now this is the equation where AI really comes in play, and I think agents can take their power back, or take control of their own database now with the help of AI. Is that it helps you be systematic, be strategic, be able to be in front of your sphere of influence that Zillow is targeting no matter what. Whether you decide to use drip campaigns or automations, Zillow is doing that no matter what.
We're going to do it.
Is on the Zillow website, they are getting listing alerts every single day, if not week, if not month, right? Zillow is retargeting them with ads. Zillow is retargeting them with on all the digital platforms. So whether you do it or they do it, someone's going to do it, and someone's going to take over your sphere of influence. So you can't forever say, oh, I do a referral business and my people will come to me, because Dan Kennedy says the company that and the what's the, I forgot the exact code, but the company that spends the most amount of money to generate a customer wins. End of the day, period, bottom line. So if you don't have the models, the systems for you to be able to stay in front of your sphere of influence, whether through paid ads, organic traffic, organic content, you're not going to be the person they will remember when they want to do business with you. And I have done Zillow myself. I've done Realtor.com myself. And I have had done business with other people's sphere of influence, people that I didn't know, but I knew that they knew an agent, but they did business with me because of what? Because Zillow put me in front of them, right? So
that's a really good point. Yeah.
Already here for those who are reading the writing on the wall. It's only a matter of you realizing what you need to do now and leveraging AI to do the work for you, right?
Yep.
And you can get right back. We can go straight back into pre-Zillow days where agents had full control over the market. No one else had a say in who's going to pay what commission to what split to what brokerage, right? Agents should decide where that money goes. Now, finally, Isaiah, I feel like I can talk about this forever with you. So if you had to predict, this last question I have is the next big thing in real estate technology altogether after AI, what would it be?
I think that blockchain, AI, and the virtual world are all going to merge together, and that's going to be the next big thing. It's because if you remember before ChatGPT came out and all the AI craze, even though like people like you and I were already deep into AI, but it wasn't like mainstream, and people just kind of heard the term. It was like, whatever, AI. So like, you know, I've been, you and I have been in this since doing AI of some kind since probably, 16, 17, 18, 2016, 17, 18. But what the buzz was blockchain, right? How blockchain is going to revolutionize the industry, or the other buzz was virtual reality, how virtual reality is going to revolutionize the industry. And I think that those things are very, very relevant. But because of this good distraction or kind of crazy distraction of AI, it's kind of the attention's been turned away from blockchain and virtual reality. But what's going to happen is there's a massive oversaturation of AI right now. So my prediction is that that's going to go through its cycle over the next year or two. And then it's going to settle down. There's going to be a core, maybe 10 tools that you ever use, maybe 15 tools that you'll ever use for AI that will make it to the top, just like most digital marketing does.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah, and they become the staples of AI. And now all of a sudden, those companies or tools will get integrated. You'll see VR come back, blockchain come back, and now they're all going to kind of work together. And the next generation business owner or agent's going to have to make sure that they're equipped to be able to do business off of blockchain, virtual reality, and have AI integrated within their business plan. That's what I see coming next.
Wow. And I see that already with EXP World 2.0,
Yep.
they're designing beta, they're already integrating
They're
real
way ahead of the
world
curve.
maps with virtual maps, and it's going to be nuts.
They're way ahead of the curve. That's the thing, is people are so focused on like, where do I go to get the best split? And I'm not saying that's not important, but that's making a decision based on today. And this is why I try to tell people is you got to stop making decisions based on what's happening today. You got to make a decision based on what's happening in a decade. Because if you plan on being in business in a decade, that's where you need to plant yourself, is the best place that you're going to be able to build your business over the course of a decade, right? And that's why companies like EXP, they're so far ahead of the curve when it comes to not only their model, but what they're doing to make sure an agent can be successful a decade from now.
Yeah.
And that would be my message, whether is to make sure that you're, when it comes to building a business. Warren Buffett said this: a lot of people don't have success not because they're hardworking or they're smart, they're just in the wrong vehicle.
Yeah.
And then when he said that, it blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, that's so powerful.
Yeah. So thank you, Isaiah, again for your time and sharing all this value, jam-packed episode, spending this time with us. Again, I want to continue this conversation with you once we go off live. And those of you who listened in, thank you everyone again for listening in. And those of you who will listen to this episode later, it would not be fair for me not to offer you what we are offering right now to all the agents and brokers that are in our community. That we had a course on digital marketing, how to automate your lead generation and conversion, that our clients were paying $6,000 a year for. We are right now giving a 30-day free trial for that course for you to learn the basics of digital marketing, online leads, how to convert, how does it work, how to get your own system set up where you can be, at least get started, set foundations for becoming your own Zillow and having your own lead generation platform set up where you're not paying to other agencies out there. So if you are interested in that course, you can comment on the video or send me a DM on social media with the word lead gen secrets. I'll share that with you. Again, Isaiah, I want to talk to you more once we get off live. Okay. So
that sounds great.
Thank you everyone for listening.
Take advantage of that offer. That's freaking huge. That's awesome.
Thanks, bro.